Hi, everyone, and welcome to episode 2 of Global Eco Stories. Today on the show, we're going to have Adam. He currently studies sustainable technology at Quest, and his topic is in transportation and renewable energy. Adam inspires me a lot because he's only 24 years old and he has been working on environmental solutions for 8 years already. Adam is the founder of a company called ADKE Enterprise Incorporated, which deals with technology that is called metallic compound air fuel cell. This technology has already existed before Adam came to help with this. He has been working for 8 years with his team to perfect and grow and expand this company. So, how does this technology work? It basically works off oxidation. All you need is oxygen and metals. But the coolest thing about this technology is that it is very clean. So there's two advantages to this technology. Number one is that the metal that is used is very widely available and it's also very cheap. And number two is that it's one of the cleanest technologies because it doesn't produce any toxic waste at all. The waste that it produces is a form of iron oxide, which is actually used in makeup and different types of things. It's so safe that you can almost eat it. And also, if you really wanted to, you could technically run the waste product back and make it back into the metal. Isn't that awesome? Now, I'm going to give you guys a little bit of warning. But personally, when I was watching this, I had to re listen again and again because it's a lot of information. So today we have Adam with ADKE Enterprises, correct?
Okay.
Sweet. So what is ADKE Enterprises?
Well, I am the founder and one of three directors of ADKE Enterprise as of right now. And ADKE Enterprise is a company that started doing research and development on a metallic compound air fuel cell. That stage is now done, and we are hoping to be reaching production in the next couple months by the end of the fiscal year.
Wait, what did you say? You said compound fuel cell.
Yeah.
Can you say it again?
Metallic compound air fuel cells.
No,
So
what is that? Yeah.
Very similar to, in your watch, there's a little small batteries.
Uh-huh.
Those are, for example, silver-based.
Uh-huh.
And you can make electricity from them. So with electricity, you can either create electricity, think something like a gasoline generator, solar panel, or you can store energy, like a capacitor, and that discharges it very quickly. So ours is less of a battery where it discharges as much of a generating cell because it produces electricity through a electrochemical reaction.
How? Okay. So let's say, what do you mean by electrochemical reaction? So what's the, is it like a metal or is it oxidation or what type of?
Both are correct. So the main chemistry underlying the metallic compound air fuel cell is oxidation. So you may have seen like brass sometimes kind of turn, actually copper more specifically turn green if it's left outside, or you can leave a sheet of aluminum foil. You go with that for a couple of days, it's black. You touch it with your fingers are all black. That's oxidation. So iron oxide, is just rust. So we're essentially doing that, but instead of aluminum or silver or iron, we're running a compound of different metals, predominantly zinc, and we are controlling the rate at which oxidation occurs so that we're getting kind of a steady stream of electrons at a constant rate instead of sometimes you get a bit more power, but less power. That's it. The flow of electrons is the dictionary definition of electricity.
So how does this power differ? For example, we have solar energy and wind energy. How does this differ from those in terms of the consistency of power?
Well, in terms of consistency of power, any type of energy or any source needs to generate power from something, whether that's from rotational movement, from heat, or from a chemical reaction. And whatever you are relying on for the basis of producing power is going to be your limiting factor. So for a photovoltaic, such as solar panels, your limiting factor is going to be the sun. If it's pitch black, you're not
exactly
power, because like the semiconductor semiconductor material that you use in your photovoltaics just isn't going to conduct any electricity.
Mm-hmm.
So much like you need wind for wind turbine to
Yeah.
spin and make power, we need oxygen because oxidation requires the presence of
Mm-hmm.
oxygen in order to like remove electrons
Yeah.
from things. So basically, the only limiting factor is there needs to be oxygen present.
Okay, that's pretty cool. Can this energy be stored?
It it can be stored, but externally. Once again, this generates electricity. It doesn't
Yeah.
store it. So
Uh-huh.
as soon as you allow air to enter the cell, this
Uh-huh.
example of the original version of
Yeah.
the cell,
Oh my God, that's pretty sweet. Nice.
it's a semi-permeable membrane that doesn't let water or liquid metal or anything really come out of the cell,
Wow. Yeah.
but it allows air to travel in. So as air, you basically open this from a sealed container or whatnot, and
Yeah.
air starts to travel inside. The oxygen in the air is
Uh-huh.
going to start interacting with the metal and the water-based electrolytes inside.
Uh-huh.
Oxidation occurs, then you have it flow out on your little anode and cathode on the front, and these things clip together so you can get your
Cool.
desired electrical potential.
So how many volt is that?
So since it does require oxygen in order to operate, the
Yeah.
theoretical load is just over 1.6 volts per cell, but practically that usually ends up between 1.3 and 1.45 volts. And
Uh-huh.
the reason for that is, once again, air quality. Somewhere where you have a lot of pollution, there's going to be less oxygen present in the air. It's going to be a little bit
Wow.
worse.
Yeah.
For example, if you're at
Cool.
the peak of
Yeah.
Everest versus really low elevation by the water, once again, thinner air, thinner atmosphere, higher elevation means there's less air, so it's going to operate slightly less effectively. Or anywhere you can have a human survive, there's going to be enough oxygen for these to work. But for example, you wouldn't want to put this in a vacuum chamber or just dump it underground in the ocean somewhere without having its own air supply, because
Uh-huh.
without oxygen,
Yeah.
once again, oxidation can't occur. So it's not necessarily the best solution for like a little remote control submarine, but
Mm-hmm.
anywhere where oxygen is available, such as anywhere above ground, it shouldn't have any issues.
So what can something like that power?
Well, that's like asking what can you power from a lithium-ion battery? Theoretically, anything.
Well,
Um,
like with that much energy, let's say with one of those, what can you power?
well, one of these you're not going to end up powering very, very much.
Uh-huh.
While the current can be relatively high, the actual electric potential or voltage
Uh-huh.
isn't high per cell. So the advantage of these guys is that, kind of similar to Lego, they clip in. I only have one with me right
Mm-hmm.
now, but these guys clip in, and you can get, if you need 100 of them or more, in a series. I believe once the internal resistance starts to actually compromise the integrity of the cells is,
Mm-hmm.
if I remember correctly, about 900 or so of these. So if you're going to be going well over 900 volts, you're going to start to have a little bit of an issue.
Yeah.
But normally, you can hook up as many of these together into a series circuit, which
Mm-hmm.
is cumulative voltage to get the desired volts. And then
Mm-hmm.
if you need more amperes, more current, you can
Mm-hmm.
make multiple of these series circuits and link them in parallel. So one of the
Okay.
largest things that we have ran off these is Nissan Leaf. So an
Nissan
electric
Leaf.
vehicle. And
Oh,
the
sweet,
vehicle wasn't
epic.
running
Yeah.
directly off this, but there
Yeah.
was I forget the correct number of cells right now. It's been a couple of years. But there
Mm-hmm.
was a set of these metallic compound air fuel cells in the custom tray in the back of the Leaf that was constantly recharging the lithium-ion battery pack present in the Nissan Leaf, and that led
Mm-hmm.
to about 466% increase in the driving range.
Hmm. Damn.
But other
I'm just
things that
thinking
we
of
have,
these percentages and I'm just like, whoa.
well,
But yeah.
logically, it's not going to be a nuclear generator. So
Mm-hmm.
it's not going to produce massive, like incredible amounts of power, but it is going to produce a very, very steady stream of power for a long period of time
Mm-hmm.
for incredibly cheap cost of materials, which we can get into later. But if you're always producing power, let's say you're producing 20 kilowatts, if you're driving at 40 kilowatts, then
Yeah.
20 kilowatts is going off your lithium-ion batteries and 20 kilowatts from the metallic compound or fuel cells, then your power consumption is in half. If, let's say, you're driving down a hill and you're only using 5 kilowatts, and this is making 20, well, 5 kilowatts is going from these to the engine, and 15 is going back into recharging your lithium ions. So it extends range that way. It also means that theoretically it eliminates the need to plug in your electric vehicle because you just leave the car and it will self-charge over, well, it will take a couple hours. We've also, currently, we are just kind of leaving out of the research and development phase. We're looking into production. So most of the things we have run have been for testing or custom solutions. So we've ran a couple cell towers off these, emergency stations for pipelines. We have run, there's a village in Namibia, Africa, that is fully running off of these cells. So the government went in and put a fair amount of money to develop the infrastructure in this village, energy efficient lighting, sewing machines for a little bit of industry, like heating, induction stoves, so on and so forth. And that entire village runs off of a lot of these metallic compound air fuel cells. And it ends up, the people have to pay for their own power, but no, the infrastructure was put in place by the government. And it ends up cheaper for these people to, run a lot of the equipment that we would think of as normal everyday lives we use all the time. It's cheaper for them to run like LED lighting in the stove and whatnot than it was for them to buy candles. Because it's about 5 cents to refuel, like you're currently calling it, or reload one of these cells.
Wow. Crazy, fascinating stuff. All right, what's the next thing that we want to say?
The waste of these guys, like the fact that they're...
Yeah, let's talk about that. Okay, so let's talk about how does the weight, like some things are wasteful, right? But is your product, is it wasteful?
Actually, in 2012, we got the award at a conference in Paris for being the only power generating solution with no environmental impact. And the reason for that is the waste from these cells is a form of iron oxide, which is actually mass produced on an industrial scale as fertilizer and for cosmetics and things. Like, you can eat it. It's completely safe. There are no toxic vapors, chemicals, or anything that is formed. There's no heat that's generated either. One advantage, for example, military applications, it doesn't release a heat signature. And it's completely safe, which is one advantage. The other advantage is also there's, in terms of getting the materials that go into the cells, they're extremely abundant in nature. So we use predominantly zinc, which there is an essentially unlimited amount of in the crust of the earth, whereas something like lithium-ion batteries, once again, lithium is a very, very finite resource, which is very expensive to extract, not to mention very horrible for the environment in the long run. But if you're in a place where you have an abundance of power nearby, like a power dam or a nuclear power station, you can actually revert the chemical reaction and get up to 97% of the original starting compound back from the waste.
Wow.
Of course, at a large energy expense. But if you're using this off the grid somewhere, but you're driving into the city to have these things reloaded, they have a green power sector that can handle the load. You can run that as well. As terms of the actual material, everything is either stainless steel or a special type of polymer, which can be reused thousands of times before eventually being worn down. At which point it is fully recyclable and can just be made, melted down and made into new units. So there's nothing dangerous or being used or produced by these cells.
That's so cool. So did you start this, like, how many years ago did you start this?
Well, this technology has been in development longer than I have been involved with the team, I should say, because it has moved different companies and kind of different teams that have worked on it over the years. I have personally been involved in this project for about 8 years now, having started in grade 10.
Wow.
A long time. Guaranteed, essentially a glorified
Yeah.
unpaid intern, but as have worked up since. Evidently, at grade 10, I cannot legally own the company, so or found the
Mm-hmm.
company, so it was was moved underneath my company once I opened that in 2015.
Mm-hmm. Damn.
But yeah, no, it's been in development
Yeah.
a long time, but no, perfection takes time.
That's super inspiring, man. This is so cool. Honestly, I don't know many people who are, at your age doing these things and, who started in grade 10, and
To a certain
that's
point, it,
very fascinating.
there is a lot with. I had a door open when I was rather young, and
Mm.
I just had an opportunity to present itself, and then I just been working hard at it a long time. But even to this day, I could not achieve anything that I'm even trying to work on without a team of very intelligent, dedicated, hardworking people
Uh-huh.
who have the PhDs and the decades of experience that I lack to help me make this work.
Wow. Do you have any highlights? For example, if something happened that was just something in your journey through this time that happened that just really fascinated you, were just really happy about it, and it's kind of like a highlight of the
Whenever things work,
yeah.
believe it or not, in research and development, it is for the most part problem solving. You are
Mm.
the whole point is you're trying to create something that hasn't been done before, something that doesn't exist. Because if the product already exists, it's on the market, you go purchase it. So it's creating something new. And
Mm-hmm.
with that, there's going to be challenges you can never even fathom. You can't see heading into them. And sometimes things don't work and you don't know why. And it's days to weeks to months of figuring out why something's being set on fire. So
You're telling
it,
me about how things get set on fire often, yeah. Yeah.
but it's a lot of fun, but also at times can be draining and stressful, and it is difficult and it takes a toll. So when something works, well, it's a wonderful feeling. Often you don't want things to work right at the start because they're going to fail down the road, but just being able to kind of persevere and kind of keep improving something until you have a product that works even better than you can hope, and you can see no way of improving. That's the best reward. And in a field
Yeah.
such as research and development, it's not necessarily a steady paycheck or anything. So
Mm-hmm.
you're in it because you want to make a difference in the world you want to make. Even a small one, you want to make it a little bit of a better place than before you came into it. So if things work, also there's a chance of having some money and you can get some bread, which is really nice as well.
Woohoo, bread, yeah, right? Very important stuff.
But yeah, no, just every success, every time something works for the first time, it's a wonderful feeling, and it never gets old.
Great, yeah.
Behind every success is thousands and thousands of failures. Nikola Tesla once said, "I have not failed. I've just simply found 10,000 ways that don't work." And
Yeah.
definitely not at his level of genius. We experience our fair share of failures and setbacks.
See, I was going to ask you what your challenges were, but that kind of like you kind of answered it a second ago. You said your challenges, it's like every day, it's like hitting it hard. It's hard, and it's like when it works.
Solutions to challenges, and thankfully we have a very good team in place for that. But
Mm-hmm.
everybody brings something else to the table. But yeah, from the theoretical standpoint of what we
Mm-hmm.
are trying to achieve, and like the physics of the chemistry of it, as well as like the engineering aspect of like designing cells and cases and
Yeah.
making sure everything works.
Mm-hmm.
That in itself is a challenge. There's also a lot of other aspects to running a small company and trying to stay afloat and make a profit that are challenging. Oftentimes, working, you get a lot of custom products, a lot of interest from whether it be foreign governments or
Mm-hmm.
military or whatnot. Working with them, kind of seeing things through their eyes and being able to kind of set their realities and like expectations back into the real world and work on them to create something can be very challenging. Once again, especially starting out, being a little bit younger, less experience in the field, especially when dealing with larger corporations, kind of being taken seriously and not just kind of disregarded as someone young with lack of experience who's just kind of making wild claims that can't hold up. Once
Interesting.
again, I
Yeah.
was very, very lucky to just get invited into a team of scientists that have let me become part of their family, and that was how
Hmm.
I managed to get in.
Interesting. Yeah. I was going to ask you next, what inspired you to get into this?
Oh, that's a very, very good question.
Yeah.
I'm not even sure. I've always enjoyed building things, creating things, and
Hmm.
just coming up with something new. So that kind of creative drive has always been there.
Hmm.
And from the other side, I always felt like not necessarily, like I will change the world and be the one true master. It's just more that if every person, no matter how small, makes a difference and changes the world a little bit for the better and leaves it, even though tiny, tiny, infinitesimal, like small fraction,
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
world is a better place after they leave it than when they come into it. Then, like, I have faith in humanity and in planet, and just like we will do marvelous things.
Hmm.
If nobody tries to change the world, nobody tries to make it better, nobody tries to come up with solutions to problems that we're currently facing, we've been facing for years, then how can we ever move forward? We're kind of destined to burn and die. So I don't
Gosh,
know.
these are beautiful words. I love this. I'm so glad this is recording. This is so inspiring, especially like there's so many people who want to take action and they want to do things, but it's, they don't have the confidence, or they maybe feel like
I
too young,
forget
or
who the quote is by, but there's a famous quote: "No problem can be solved with the same level of thinking that created it." I believe that may be Einstein, but you'd have to fact check that. That. But yeah, but once again, this is just the way I am going about doing that. There's whether you are an artist or you uh, whatever field you choose, everybody has something they're good at, their own kind of the passion, their hobby, something that works. For me, it just ended up going through more of the scientific field, but more the kind of the creative part of science. Thankfully, there's all of our qualified scientists on the team. But for others, it could be music or something that brings awareness to a problem, or it could be building schools for people that normally don't have a school in their community. It doesn't matter. It can be picking up trash or just like not using plastic bags, but as long as everybody makes a little bit of an effort,
Yeah,
then well, it's going to get better.
totally agree. Oh, I love it. I love these words. I love this. This is people need to hear this. Okay, this is going to be so. I'm so. My next question is, what is your advice for young graduates who just graduated university in environmental sort of field?
Everybody has their own path and their own journey, and keep doing. When I say keep doing what you're passionate about and what makes you happy, I do not mean just keep going to the club and drinking copious amounts of beer. But don't force yourself to conform to anyone else's expectations. Um,
Hmm.
your life is your own, and you never know how long you might be here. It can be very short, and just make it count. And try and make the world a better place. Try and help as many people as you can. But first of all, you have to take care of yourself and help yourself. I don't really know. Everybody's a different person. But general advice: stay true to yourself and never give up. No matter how many times you fail, keep trying. Another Einstein quote: what was it? "He who has never failed has probably never tried anything new."
Yeah.
He's Einstein also said, "I'm not a genius. I just stick with my problems longer." So it's just don't get discouraged and give up. Keep fighting.
These are all super, super motivating words that people have to hear, and I'm so happy you said that.
Just write it up. Einstein quotes always.
Yeah, Einstein quotes. Yeah, just put them all over the walls. So, is there anything that the audience could do for you to help you?
Um, that's a very, very good question.
Yeah, whether
Uh,
it's following your social media, or supporting you, encouraging you, or finding investors, or anything you want. What do you want from the world?
don't have too much of a social media presence, but once again, I personally believe that one of the main problems that's kind of moving forward is not even problems, but the main solution for facing the problems we have moving forward is education. We're educated and aware of what is happening, whether that is at the local level, at the global level, whether that's the environment, politics, economy. If you aren't aware of what's going on, how can you be expected to have an opinion or to lead change? I mean, the kind of principle of democracy is an informed public electing representatives to so whatever your field and area of interest may be, try and kind of help other people understand it, because once again, there are things I have absolutely no clue about. I have my very tiny field that I know quite well, but nobody knows everything. So try to help educate other people about what you know, and just try and educate yourself about what you do not, so that you can make good decisions moving forwards. If you want to learn more about the metallic compound air fuel cells and my company, you can find us on our webpage. It's just www.adke-enterprise.com. I'm sure Sasha will put a link in the description.
Oh, for sure. There's going to be links in the description.
But otherwise, you can also contact us through the site if you have any ideas of how you could help, or if, I mean, once again, we have a bunch of other projects going as well that just for a different video. But if you would like to be a part and either invest in this technology or in a different technology, well, we're always looking for money. That's useful.
Yeah.
You always need materials, you need tools, and that does cost money. And one of the major battles of a small team coming up with, you need results to get funding, and even it can be difficult to secure. But if you have something you need and you want us to possibly help with you, these cells sound very, very interesting, though we've only gone through like the very, very basic aspects of them. If you think you could use them either personally or professionally, once again, contact us. We mostly run 12-volt units for general people, but we can create a custom solution for you. If you have any questions, once again, let us know. We have people whose job it is to answer them.
Sweet.
So, nothing too specific based on where the company is currently as in the day of recording this video. But if you have any questions or you want to help and want to know how you can help, or just contact us.
Sweet. And we also have a Facebook page, correct? You have a Facebook page?
There is a Facebook page. Basically, there's just a page that has a link to our webpage on Facebook. There's not much as of recording this video. But once again, on the webpage, there is a contact form as well as email and phone number where you can get in touch with somebody.
So what we're all going to do is we're all going to like the page and support so that the algorithm,
Somewhere.
that's what we're going to do. Anyways, do you have anything else to add?
No, I don't think so. Well, thank you very much for the opportunity for having me on, and for trying to once again bring awareness to people and get the information out there.
Exactly, because there's these genius brains out there, and I want to make sure that people know that there's people doing things out there, and and they're young and smart.
As someone that works with a fair few of the genius brains, they're often not very young.
But you know what? Yeah.
No.
I need the world to know about you, and I need the world to know about your project.
I do support the whole Mars mission thing that Elon Musk and NASA and people are going through, but just for the record, Mars is not an alternative to Earth.
Yeah. Oh no, that could be a whole entire podcast.
No, I'm just bringing awareness is important because we only have one planet, so we need to take care of it.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you so much, Adam.
My pleasure. Thank you once again for having me on the show.
Yeah. Thank you for watching, guys. See you in the next episode.
Alright, thank you for watching. All the information that you need about all the links and the websites and the Facebook pages can be found in the description. And once again, please like it, subscribe, and share so that we can grow a bigger audience and more people can be educated and more organizations can have a greater impact. Thank you for watching. See you next time.